Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's coverage of Racers Elite. Once again, the Truck Series, ready to roll from iRacing's virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway on Maconi Entertainment. Maconi Entertainment is here to bring you action from all types of racing, including this series and many others. No matter what you're racing, we can bring the action to life. My name's Justin Prince. Alongside me is Howie Burrows for tonight's coverage of the Family Traditions RV Rentals Fixed Truck Series as the battle for the championship continues into Charlotte, Howie.
This track, an all-time classic. I thought they'd be maybe running the Roval, but they're deciding to go the fast way around the edge. There's nothing quite like sending them flying around this 1.5 mile speedway. Plenty thin with the punishing walls on exit and this brand new scan, bumpier than ever, but the racing's always an all-time classic here.
Especially since these drivers actually had this as their preseason race we've seen here on the channel. Andrew Teff, mind you, amongst the drivers who did well during that race, he leads the points by 12, in fact, over Sean Dunaway. Yeah, Blair Holyman also within a respectable distance of 14 back of the championship lead. Troy Thomas within 15. Alex Gates also within about 20 points. Everybody else is going to need to hope for a bit of luck here, Howie, if they want to close up and try and win this championship.
Luck doesn't always completely fall your way on a track that some would call predictable, but I think anything can happen when you pack this many of these drivers around a classic track such as Charlotte. These trucks get quite fast around here. They get faster than the average stock car. They can hold it a lot more flat around the edges, and what was one of the tightest, most difficult ovals becomes one where flat-out racing really becomes key. Brutal on the tyres as ever, though, around here.
And a lot of drivers are taking their time to be able to put up some qualifying laps here. They still have a couple more minutes before we move to the starting grid procedure here tonight. 105 laps, but a lot of potential pit stops here is going to be part of the key. So how do you balance things out tonight, knowing these drivers will have to pit a fair bit to make sure they're good to go on fuel here at this racetrack with 65% fuel tank?
And only 4 tire sets. I think strategy is going to have to play a really big part of that, because you're not going to be able to take all the tires you want for a race that potentially goes yellow quite a few times as well. It's quite brutal, I think, for the amount of actual laps we're going to be running around here. 105 with the fast repair available, which you might want on a track that can get tight and close. Unlike where we've seen a lot of NASCAR at the last week, Kansas, this track has the opposite problem. There's no space. And so you run too wide at best, and you hope to really outfox them on corner exit. It's very difficult to make a pass work around here, but it rewards good long run.
Yes, indeed. We'll have to see how these drivers handle the racetrack tonight. As you see, probably Frost amongst those trying to put up some qualifying times before the session officially transitions to the 96 machine. See that clock down to a few seconds left. But drivers such as Taft did well, Sanfilippo also amongst those who did well last time we raced at Charlotte in an event for Racers Elite for the trucks. It's going to be interesting, to say the very least, how these drivers move around the racetrack. Who are you watching the most for tonight based on what you've seen from the series throughout the campaign?
The big emphasis is going to be on these top 12 drivers and just watching every last position that they are in on this grid now. No one's really run away with it. You can say Teff's just a little bit ahead of those down near the bottom of the cut, but nobody's quite made the sort of run that is absolutely prodigious. You don't exactly get him with one win here, and there's a lot of drivers in like a 30-point band where good results can change pretty much everything. We have a starting grid just about ready, so I should be able to get that rolling for you.
So just about all set to go. Blair Holyman sets the pole time tonight here from Charlotte. Brandon Sanfilippo starts in second position. Row number 2, that will feature Kensley Smith. Alex Gates starts next to them. It's about 10th off the pole. Philip Archibald starts at 5th. Sean Dunaway is down at 6th tonight. 7th goes the way of Truth Hoke, with Alex Teft in the top 8. And rounding out your top 10 starting positions on the next group, it's Troy Thomas and Kirby Wainscott makes an appearance in the top 10 in quality tonight.
20 cars make the grid, so exactly another 10 fresh. Andrew Teft in the 98 makes 11th, whereas Barry Nelson in the 196 lines up in 12th, ahead of Bob Yost Jr. alongside Frank Chavez. Curtis Ecker in 15th, ahead of Alan Bergen. And some drivers that didn't quite set their times. Riley Frost in 17th, Kyle Hess in 18th, followed by Paul Shaw in the last car on the grid. Actually makes 19 on the road with our live race control in here as ever. So 105 laps, it's a lot of runs around this track, and if it goes yellow a few times, you're going to have to think about strategy because it's not a very kind track to the tyres at all times.
No, it is not, and we might see a fair bit of fall-off. We'll have to keep an eye on how these drivers fare out. Overall, on top of tire wear, where are some of your other keys to victory here tonight for these competitors?
On looser, trickier cars, I always watch the transition out of turn 3 and 4 onto the tri-oval. I find it one of the hardest in all of iRacing to quite get right. It's very easy to push it up against the wall. These are nice tight trucks, but if you get too aggressive, you'll burn it off coming in, or cut that AstroTurf on the tri-oval too hard. This is one of those tri-ovals that curses my absolute nightmares, but it's where you should get really, really, really aggressive on people up as well. Otherwise, just staying out of people's way on a track like this, to be honest, and just making sure to mind your own business all the way to the end, because you're going to get opportunities given to you later if you're patient.
So again, the Family Traditions RV Rentals Fixed Truck Series in the midst of its chase for those tuning in for the first time, our second of 4 races with the chase for the championship. 2.5 miles, 2 short tracks are part of the championship equation. Your weather on screen, by the way. Temperatures for today, 76 track temp, 75 is the air temp currently, with the in-sim day being iRacing Day, May 15th, 2025.
Temps
so the field gets ready to go.
Temps probably aren't going to break people's spirit, given that we're doing right and nice under the lights, and it's probably only going to get cooler from here. That's probably the one thing these drivers are going to appreciate having in their core.
So we get ready to see where things shape up for the field. We're just about happy to have you with us for tonight's coverage here on Maconi Entertainment of Racers Elite. The trucks ready to let it rip again under the lights like earlier this year here at Charlotte. Pace truck dropping off out of turn 4. 105 laps on the board. Who wins by the end? Let's find out. Green flag is underway. America's Home for Racing sees the action underway. Clean start for the field as Hollyman leads things off to begin the action. Sanfilippo, though, providing a lot of pressure from the outside. A lot of people trying to run that blue line, as you would expect, though, Howie. Short distance around. Better way to save tire.
Brand new scan as well. Was a little bit bumpier than the one we had a few years ago. This track has gotten rougher and rougher and rougher with time. And now this one was only scanned in the last year alongside the configurations for the new Roval. So I can imagine it's just that little bit more abrasive. That's our 12th car hitting the outside wall first time entering turn 1.
Now you see him trying to switch things up on the line. Takes it to the inside. Here comes the 12. Sanfilippo looking to take over the race lead. Hoyman trying to wrap the wall. Get a good corner exit as a result of that run in the 32. Holds on for now, albeit turns 1 and 2 doesn't seem as strong for the top compared to that bottom of the racetrack. Near full throttle, mind you, in the early going here for these drivers. There will be some throttle management to make sure you don't cook the tires later.
I find the bottom to be generally not just a tyre saver line, but quite fast around there. You don't really sacrifice that much on a track this tight on exit. You can see the trucks just slide a little bit on their way out of 3 and 4. However, that top can get dominant in time if you start putting heat, start putting rubber into it over a long race. That's when it can start coming back for you. As it stands, we're not seeing drivers really gain huge advantage in either way. They're just running side by side if they've got the pace.
So, bottom of the field still keeps things calm. With tonight's field here, it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on some of these drivers like Kirby, or Kensley Smith should say. Kensley Smith, one of the drivers not on the championship hunt, but is amongst the drivers in the springtime who had a bit of a rough time the last time the Truck Series raced here for exhibition competition, but did have speed before. Seems to be holding on to second spot now with that pass. He's also bringing Archibald with them into third.
This side-by-side battle for the third and the fourth has really let this leader get away. Holloman made a pass for the lead, and ever since then, he's just been moving and moving away. Barry Nelson, very, very slow, by the way, just dropped all the way to the back. He may have just had a weird slip at a corner exit, and I might be able to try and catch what happened to him in just a minute, because he got a good start on that grid, and now he's just gone. He's basically down and out this race. The only good thing about his car is that it's facing forwards.
Now you see some of the drivers doing well to start off. Alex Teft, about top 10, top 15 driver this season. Once the driver's not in the postseason, but is 4 back of the best of the rest coming into this evening. That 43 doing a good job here tonight so far on this short run already. To be able to hold on to some spots amongst the drivers. Just wrapping the bottom like we're seeing Sanfilippo do, who's dropped down to 4th, and some of the others trying to regain. So and Alex Teft's done a solid job for someone who has had 6 top 10s this season in that 43 up the road.
I didn't think too much from his qualifying time, but really, I mean, in such a point system as the typical NASCAR one, you're really just rewarded for consistency. And if you're near the top, you get 1 or 2 wins, it helps you out. But, you know, you don't just fly away without some intense bonus. As long as you're just consistently getting good results, you're very, very happy. And he's proven that consistency already. I mean, he'd be happy to ride P6 given the position he's in, and probably look for more later. But he's patient, and he knows to really bide his time. I think the best drivers here are going to bide their time. I'm going to get an eye on what happened to Barry Nelson, because he dropped like an absolute rock down the field, by the way. Here he was running a little bit further up high, but I just saw him drop places. It looked like crazy, like he had something horrible happen. It was contact with the 83 right into the 8 as well, and that's going to send him loose. Actually corrected by the 8 in time to keep him from facing in one direction.
Very lucky that there was that assistance there. No damage to Curtis Ecker, mind you, from that. They still keep going for the time being, although Barry Nelson is now 11 seconds back here later. One of the drivers that has not been able to pick up enough spots yet, Andrew Teft. Usually on the long run is someone to be able to battle with, but has also been someone in the past couple weeks who has thrived once we got to above 30 laps into a run. Right now, Andrew Teft only a +3 after a poor qualifying run for the 98, your championship points leader.
A little bit more side-by-side with Dunway and Alex Teft. I think they've been trying this for a short while, actually. Both trying different lines, but both running alongside each other. A little bit of a disappearance there from Dunway. It's actually Sanfilippo he's running side-by-side with on the bottom line. A lot more drivers starting to move up to the top as a natural course of progression, actually. We also see it from, I saw a little bit from Archibald up ahead. Now he's just hugging up that wall. He thinks there's grip starting to show there. Our leader as well, Blair Hollyman, doing the same. And that gap has shrunk 6 tenths to 2 tenths.
And that gap is quickly starting to go down. Hollyman, seen this happen a couple times during the season. Dunaway, also one of the drivers that's drived on long run. He's one of the drivers sticking to the bottom. The top 3 have all moved up to the wall. So some different lines being ran now with the lane choices on the tires. Dunaway preferring the bottom line with Sanfilippo, while the leaders are just running as high as can be here, Howell.
People might just be trying to adapt in clean air and look for that grip right now, while they have sort of the room and the flexibility to do it running up in front. You're going to have multiple pit stops here no matter what. Really, you want to be in a good enough position to win it by the end exclusively in your favour. I can imagine maybe some of these drivers are testing things out. I think we've had another slip-off from Alan Bergen, even. I'm sure that's how you say it. He's been falling back and going off track almost every single lap. I wonder if we'll catch another instance of it happening around there, especially if I make this run just a little bit faster along the way. Not quite. I seem to be getting off-track reports. No, he is just cutting the AstroTurf every single lap. Something must have happened to him a few laps ago. So we've got to go back to live pictures here, because we're running side by side still for third and fourth.
Still trying to make a poke is the 12. Nothing doing. Now Dunaway trying to run on top of the seam. That's a choice that may destabilize the truck a little bit. All this while, Alex Tept up in 6th. But a chance to watch along with what's happening. By the way, with the way the fuel tanks are set up tonight, already past the halfway point of the expected fuel run here. So around 30, 35 laps into the race, should see some drivers have to start thinking about diving on down pit road to be able to try and make sure they can get to the end on gas. Or rather, to the next pit stop.
Kensley Smith has been patching and patching to Holliman's bumper over time, and we've been seeing little whispers of him possibly going side by side for the lead here. That 15 thinks that bottom is faster. I think he's right. I think it's faster than people are giving it credit for. He certainly made his way up close. We got to within a 10th and a half at one stage in time. Still battling that 1 and that 12, but it seems to be ending in much the same way. Maybe Kensley Smith wants to make this move before the end of this first pit cycle, as now we also have the 99 falling back and potentially making it a 3-car chase.
See a little bit of the pressure building up to the 99. Dunaway gets passed now by Sanfilippo from the high side. High side seems to be the better line. Could be hard to make some passes now as Sanfilippo tries to go for third on the bottom. And it looks like he's got the better speed as well. He wraps the inside, able to switch lanes. That adaptability is going to really help him throughout this entire race.
This track's going to be really dynamic and it's going to change, but I just have the feeling like it's a mistake to just abandon the bottom right now, because here's Andrew Pep doing much the same, passing a car on the inside as well. I think everybody that's trying to make this move to the bottom is actually getting the best results for it. Here's Sean Dunway against the 99. I mean, he was sort of running the bottom the whole time, but you see it just helps him now clear on this 99 car. Archibald out of the way, and he might be passed by Alex next.
Now, let's see what happens with some of these drivers here. See the battle going on for second, by the way. Sanfilippo brings the Bernadette Strawn machine up into second position. Right now, he's faster than the leader last time by. 3/10 quicker, in fact, was the difference for the 12. He is turning into a rocket ship. The thing is, he's going to have to make this past the bottom. Holliman's been preferring to run the high line.
It's been fast up to now, but people have to be catching Holliman when they've got within that 10th. They have actually been struggling to finish the pass, and it might just be what happened again. We can get the view on board Kensley Smith's truck to see what's going on. He washes up a little bit in the turn. That's the one line you don't want to run, is starting bottom and then sliding up to the top and shredding those tires. But right now they're still side by side, dead even. I don't know which line is prevailing. I'm seeing some sparks from Holliman in the wall. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going right into it, but he certainly is being challenged for this lead.
Yes, here we go. Sanfilippo trying to round the bottom. Barry Nelson just ducked down pit road, but that doesn't matter for now. What matters is, can the 12 get our first lead change of the night? Holliman's keeping his foot in high side, but he's not getting as good of runs as he should be for this straightaway. Sanfilippo keeps it to the inside. Now looking to just take his time to make this pass as Hoyman continues to slide, and now Sanfilippo had to get out of the gas.
He is brave up there on the top, and he's not giving that spot up easily. He's kind of forcing his opponents to actually just back out of their moves. We're actually already a quarter of the way through this race. I thought it would be extremely long, and time does seem to fly. We did see our first sign of a pit taker. It was a driver in the back trying something different on the strategy, but it does mean we're going to slowly start seeing this field make their moves, and at that point, it's going to be curious seeing how the tire delta really affects these cars in the long run. Everybody seems like they're mostly running with each other. Maybe Holloman used a little bit too much of them, but it's not going to matter too much if he can hold on just until that pit stop.
Here we go, meanwhile, for Andrew Teft. Has Alex to the outside. Andrew's now up +5, as said before. Long run is the 98's friend. By the end of the race, will likely be in the conversation. Oh, wow. This battle for the race lead has pulled Dunaway right into the heart of it. He's already passed by Kensley Smith. Now Dunaway taking his time here to see how things go for this fight before he looks to make the move, as Holyman still has not relinquished the lead.
This sort of gap is good enough that I wouldn't necessarily just like send it to Hallenbach just to make it happen this early if I was that car on the bottom. He is actually going to do it. Sanfilippo is going to clear out in front, and that's going to make a new race leader. I think these two have been slowing each other down a lot though, and Sean Dunway in that Hello Kitty 01, you can see it from a mile away, and I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon.
Nicely done for the 12 machine. Holyman will try and make a switch to the inside on the crossover. Thing is, look at that, he looks tight. Very tight, in fact. Had to get out of it, and here comes Dunaway to take away second spot. Pit window is wide open. Rabios Jr. just came down for scheduled service. So we'll see how long his driver goes now in second and how long everybody else goes. Frank Chavez also just entered pit road. It's going to be really close on the mileage for some of these drivers by the end of the race, Howie, if you divide it up pit stop by pit stop with how it's looking.
If you make three stops and go 30 laps, it's okay, because that would get you 120 laps total, and we're actually 15 down on there. I think when it gets divided up by cautions, that's when it's going to get a little bit awkward. Now, Andrew Teft has joined this battle. It looks as if this top two have sort of, his leaders just run. Sean Dunway makes the move for P2. Holloman's dropping. He's just going to make a move for pit lane right now and begin this cycle up front.
And here we go. Right on the dial. Hearing a couple more calls over the radio coming up. Chavez, by the way, just owing now. Got out of pit road after a slow exit off the lane. So the 13 top and through. Holyman should say. Rolls now to the pit stall. This time through. More calls over the radio, this time by Troy Thomas, Paul Shaw. Amongst those coming on down, the 99 of Archibald. Also appeal in this wave. The leaders, for now, continue to try and stretch this fuel run to get as close to that finishing marker as they can here.
Black flag for Kyle Hess on pit entry. That's speeding on the way in. Didn't look blatant to me, but it's enough to trip the beam and send him down unless a wreck gives him that lap back. That's brutal.
And look at this, a lot of people coming down this wave. Some near contact in a couple cases. Alex Tapp kept it very conservative. Kensley Smith went a little bit aggressive on the entry. They all rolled their way into the lane. So Andrew Teff, Alex Gates, Kirby Wayne Scott are the only drivers yet to take service. Hearing that Andrew has told Barry Nelson he's coming in this time. So should see the rest of your leaders come in now. And that would put someone like Andrew Teff at a probably a 33.66.99 window, which would put him less than 6 laps away from making it, Howie. It's going to be tight. This has to be a 3-stop for the field. It's just too short by a couple laps if it goes green.
We will see some people start to clutch in and save it in a couple runs, I think. But for most people, it'll be a 3-stop. If we stay green, this is going to become a race about whether people are able to save or whether people are able to race it out to the end. Rob Yost Jr. is actually going to be the driver to inherit the lead after many of these pit stops are done. Sort of out of nowhere, but he undercut this field massively. He's going to struggle on the fuel in the long run, but that pace from that early stop probably has helped him quite a lot because he now inherits the lead. He's 6 laps on those tyres.
Now, right now, that lead, decently sizable. Blair Hoyman has cycled in front of a lot of the others as well by a decent chunk. Intervals now equalize on the racetrack here, where the lead will stand. Well, Hoyman is only 2 seconds back of Yost. Dan Filippo is 4 seconds back. Whoa, we have trouble. Dunaway has broken something on the 01. Hard hits to the wall, and Sean Dunaway with significant damage.
Saw him slipping and sliding bit by bit. I don't know if I think he just got loose or whether he got some help along the way. Here's Sean Dunaway. In fact, his live position is dropping by the second. Oh, he does tag the wall. The brutal turn 4. I saw it coming, and that slowed him down tremendously on the exit. Oh, look at what that must look like. This is such a hard transition out of the turn to get right because his turn just tightens up more than most others. And it's just not enough wheel. It's good to save this and keep it facing forwards, but that truck ain't looking good. Drivers have one fast repair, but this happened at the start of your stints. You're now going to have to run the entire fuel run like this. It's not going to be fun.
Disastrous for him, absolutely, here. Still lining up behind Philip Archibald for the main pack, by the way. Last time through, not too much of a close-up, though, on Hoyman. Poor Hoyman did something really strong with that pit window to jump away 3 seconds, though, from just about everybody else on his cycle. He's only a 2-lap overcut from a couple of the drivers in the main group. This is a decent spot here if he can make the time stay up, as he's about to catch up to the 83.
And that 83 is the one that's going to struggle to make his maths work. I mean, he got an amazing jump early on in this run. Now it's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse for him. He's going to. Started 13th, got the great jump with this undercut. Maybe he was hoping, though, that he'd get a yellow, reset this field, and reset this race. Instead, that's getting easy into. That pass is absolutely inevitable in time. Alex Teft battling with San Filippo, who had an amazing start to this run and is now just struggling. Here's Blair Hoyman. I mean, this is no effort whatsoever. That's a pass for the lead.
Easily done and able to get in front. The gap less than 4 seconds now between them and the rest of the pack. Alex Teft and Andrew Teft, as you would expect, with the fresh charge. Charging contact. Andrew Teft almost trying to follow Alex down. And Dort the 12. Alex Teft holds onto the spot as apologies come over the radio. That was a little bit sketchy there as he'll reset.
40 laps, everyone keeping their truck pointed in the right direction. Though we've had a few contacts. We've had people very good at either saving it or getting help at the right time to keep it in one place. And as long as it stays green, this is going to benefit those that stopped a little later and those who know how to play strategy, and maybe some of those who know how to save fuel a little bit later. I'm not hearing any signs of dramatic saving in the field, but I wonder who's done the maths. I want this on board Yost Jr.'s car here. Is there any sign that he's getting on the clutch into corner entry? I mean, the answer, my initial answer is I don't think so, but he's not getting caught up to as quickly by Philip Archibald. I mean, he is getting caught up, but what matters is, does he have good track position by the time he has to make his next stop? That's what's really going to matter.
It'll be an interesting strategy race now with how things look. Alex Teft trying to push the 99. Here we got to the spoiler to take some air off of it. That holds on for now. All this while Rabios Jr. is about to fall into clutches of this pack with the next 5 laps or so. Alex Tepp for now does force Archibald up the track. Takes the lift again. Been a solid run for him tonight. Did really well at Charlotte earlier in the year. He's doing really well working with his brother to pick up all these spots.
Racing certainly getting more aggressive now in this second run, and this is the second one. So imagine how bad this is going to get when we hit the 4th pit stop run later in today's race. I think this is only going to evolve and evolve, but this whole pack is sort of getting held up. And whoever gets in the lead is the next one to hold it up. I can't really pin it to any one driver. No one's on older tyres around here. Just seems to be this continuous battle of not wanting to be in the lead and not really being able to pull away. This pack is now in a second of Robios Jr., so they're catching faster than I imagined, and that position's going to be gone very soon. That's the difference in 5-lap-old tyres around here.
Now these tires seeing about 1 second of fall off here. The averages earlier seen up to 2 seconds in terms of the intervals. The Rabios Jr. is now right in front of these drivers, crawling. Sean Dunaway has taken his chances and is coming down now. And this is going to make things really interesting for the 01 on strategy now, if this is going to be a 4 tire or not, because he can still pit with about 30 laps to go or so and be good on gas, but on a really alternate strategy.
I think maybe being sent to the back has just made it want to test his mark. The actual damage doesn't look as bad as I first thought on that thing. It looks like it can drive, and I'll keep an eye out, but he has used the fast repair, so he has done that. Look at just how this has built up, by the way. Those 2 cars are running away. I mean, Robios Jr., while I looked away, has dropped 6 places just in one go. I looked away for a second and he's gone, but the rest of this is just an absolute pack, because you have these drivers are down to 6, Robios Jr., and then Curtis Ecker leads Troy Thomas, Riley Frost, and Truth Hoke, and they're doing their own race as well. This has just suddenly become a pack race out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's kind of the nature of this package sometimes. You just have these gaggles of trucks that work together, such as this. Kensley Smith trying to run the middle, by the way. They all have Alan Bergen running on the bottom as a lap truck. He's, mind you, spent 1 minute and 24 seconds the pit lane last time he came through. Archibald didn't really plummet. So you have all this balance so far in this pack, I'm noticing here. All these different tire strategies. Robbie Yost is on an island for his strategy. He is a sitting duck, falling down the order, and he's falling worse than he was running before his tire strike call.
And because he made the stop early and this truck has no fuel, he's basically now locked into this cycle of going till the thing's empty at latest, and then what? Be on an alternate strategy that still might not make the laps. Keep an eye on how high Dunway climbs. We've seen the new tyres are fast around here, and he's going to be gapping cars, unlapping himself here past the 13. He's going to be making his way around the track, but he is throwing a gamble here that maybe a caution happens right now and then he cycles to the front. If this stays green again, then he's in trouble all over again, because he's not going to be able to make up enough ground by the end of the race. Almost halfway now. Time really has flown. I came into it and I actually saw 105 laps and I thought, oh, that's going to take a really long time. And we're halfway through. I mean, that's the nature of the racing here. It does not stop.
Up front here, this is for the lead already. That gap went down 4 seconds over the course of about 15 laps. Andrew tapped on the fresher tires, yet again proving why he is the championship favorite and is very close. Try being in a good position to clinch by the time we get to 5 flags, near virtually. Robbie Yost, this is interesting, only 23 laps on the run. This is a lot earlier than you would expect.
I mean, I think he's so desperate in his position that I really don't know what I would do in his where he is either. I mean, this is desperation to the max. I mean, maybe he doesn't even know that someone else is going for a desperation Hail Mary as well. And it's just a game to see which Hail Mary pans out the best. 32. Oh, hard in the wall, Blair Holliman. And yeah, Andrew Teft started 11th. Doesn't even need a good qualifying time. Alex Teft started 8th. Still up here. Blair Holliman, our pole starter, he's now down to 3rd. And he's been fast and consistent, but this isn't race-winning pace here.
Yeah, this is not looking great for Holliman compared to what Tap's putting up. 31-1s with slightly fresher Goodyear Eagles. Incredible. Tap's trying to make it a family 1-2 here if they can get the pass done, but Sanfilippo has the edge to the inside. A decent long run also trying to play the game here on that blue line, coming up to 52 laps to go.
Andrew Teft's got 1.2 seconds and just completely checked out. Rear view mirror, he's just going to be, if he can even see these cars fighting in his rear view mirror, he's probably very, very happy with what he sees. 43 sliding up. Alex Teft, I thought the rear of that truck was going to go around. These things are really starting to loosen up quite a bit rather than tighten. That truck just seems to do unusual things, and it's scaring me a little. We're getting some pit stop calls now. We might be seeing the cycle return.
You see right now, game's being played by this field. Sanfilippo looking to complete the move. Window is open. Kirby Wayne Scott did just duck down. That's only 21 laps on his pit window. Some drivers are thinking about the long-term positioning of their final pit stop here. Keep in mind, the all with Sean Dunaway already 9-10 laps into a tire run. Down in 15th, 42 seconds back of the leader, and running a lap time slower than your current leader on the racetrack, for those curious. So it's not looking great at all for the 01.
You make a mistake that sends you back, you have to try something. Sometimes that something doesn't work at all. I'm very surprised that he's even slower though. That is maybe someone that's just lost that edge after that early incident, and now just wants to, it's just tilted and wants to bring it home. That would be sad to see for someone that really, really raced well up front, but I mean, it's inexplicable that newer tyres are not running like this. These guys are battling each other. They're taking time away.
Yeah, you see the move complete. Sanfilippo does get himself the spot, albeit losing a ton of ground. 2.5 seconds to Andrew Teft. Alex Teft still wants to pass by Holliman. Still nothing. What a bubble. Kensley Smith holds on to it. That 15 machine nearly hit the wall that had to dance over the racetrack. Speaking of people trying to dance, how about for some spots? Alex Gates, fresher tires than the people in this pack, moves himself back to 7th. As hearing that Curtis Eckler in this pack is going to pit this time.
I think this is going to be the beginning of the long cycle. Let's get on board and sort of see how he slows this down to get it in. You've got to drop hard off that banking to have any chance of making it. Thankfully, these trucks are on the slower side. He's made it in cleanly without any issues. I think that's going to start reactions now. We're sort of running up now on that time where you can split this easily into 4 if you stop now. 25, that's going to go over the 47, and we've proved we can go as far as 30. So maybe some drivers might experiment on this run, take an early stop, and then maybe take a later one later. That's Blair Holliman. Behind him, I'm trying to catch. I'm trying to catch who's behind. That's Kenton Smith.
Yes, indeed. So these drivers trying to out-strategize Andrew Teft. I believe Andrew Teft is getting ready to pit a little bit early to respond here. See if he is ducking down or not. Yes, he is. Only 27 laps into the run this time. He's trying to keep this margin pretty large over the rest of the field here.
Best thing to do in his position, I think, is to play the game safe. Get out of people's way. Not just play something that you think is going to work. Not do something outrageous. This is earlier than average, but he gave himself the room to do that in his first stint very, very easily. very interesting that just with those tire sets available, you don't get flexibility in any way here. You have 4 sets. If you have 4 sets, that's 3 stops. That means you have a set for all of your stops and nothing else if something happens and resets this field unless you play alternate. That's going to be the hope for some of these drivers.
Yeah, this is going to become a game if it hasn't already. The rest of the field, 44 to go. And Filippo amongst those, still staying on the racetrack, by the way. As we go with Alex Teft doing the same. Hogue Thomas also out there with Paul Shaw. Robbie Oates Jr. has cycled to net lead. Sean Dunaway cycled 4 seconds back of him. How things positioned on the track. So tough strategies for some. Everyone else starting to get really spread apart here. It's not necessarily pack racing right now for the time being for everyone who just pit. A lot of them are staggered out on this track.
And Andrew Teft is going to inherit the overall lead when this is all done. That's Phil Shaw in next. Leaving that box, we're just going to get more and more calls to the end. Dunway and Yost yet again just doing things on the alternate. So they're leading for now, but those leads might disappear. It's 3 seconds to Yost, and Teft is just going to take Dunway right here. I mean, if a flag was thrown here, this would be the most glorious comeback for these drivers. They would have a chance to run this, but as it stands, this is going to get chipped away at.
See that being the case for now. The 4 seconds the gap. Dunaway just hoping to survive on his strategy as the rest of the leaders have all tucked down this time by the way. Rob Yost will get some lead laps yet again. He led 5 last time on the strategy. Alex Teft, the first out of this group, will get themselves rolling out of the pit lane for those who stretch in San Filippo. Those who are part of that pack already got rolling a little bit down the road. So all of this is where it becomes the question, when do you take the final stop? Do you stretch to the end? Do you wait to 20 to go, 25 to go? That decision could be the race-deciding move here, but the amount of fall-off we've seen for a lot of these trucks.
I think if you can make it a clean 25, you'd love to. That first stint felt a bit longer. It went to like 30. But if you can go 20, if you're someone like F that went 25, it went fine, try 25 again. Nothing bad should hopefully happen to you and you can run your way all the way to the end. Running very close to the end of this season, by the way, looking ahead at the schedule. Kansas is up next. It's bigger, it's wider, it's faster, it's a little bit more furious. And you mentioned 5 flags as the finale. That is brutal, but sounds like so much fun. I absolutely adore that short track. I believe we'll be seeing a little bit more of it on the Maconi Entertainment channel this week.
Well, there's the talking point with the ARCA boot camps that Jeff Maconi's been putting on with some of the races he's ran. There it is for the lead. Andrew Teft takes the lead. Getting this series in the midst of getting ready for its upcoming season. Now that next season is being set to go on the Racers Elite Network. It's worth noting for season 9 is the way to phrase it. Some of the races they have for a longer season because of the Christmas break. You have tracks such as Atlanta 2008 going to be on the schedule. Myrtle Beach on the schedule. There's a road course race at Lime Rock Park. 5 Flags is a part of the chase again. There's a decent selection of races for next season that they're advertising for this series, all while they get ready for the real world start to the season as next season bleeds into February.
I'm too used to series that like end in the winter. It feels like NASCAR just disappears and then it comes back like days later. Like, did you miss me? They were able to keep that up for more than half of the year with like 2 breaks, and then they just come back like nothing happened. It's kind of relentless, but certainly gives the fans something to love. Let me say that.
keeps people occupied, I think is the phrase that they're looking for. Absolutely. Be able to keep racing whenever there's no racing on the TV stations, unless you count snowmobile racing potentially. It's about having fun during those weekends and winter periods, absolutely. Take a look at Raleigh Frost, by the way. He's up 11, right behind Curtis Eckers plus 10. Both of these drivers have gained a lot of spots tonight after not having good qualifying efforts.
I mean, those numbers up on the side are sort of like the giveaway of the whole story. Andrew Teft was inevitable, perhaps, but Yost is, up there but hoping for circumstances. But, Ecker and Frost have played the same strat as the others, and they've just earned this. They've just been consistent in the long run, gotten out of people's way when they were due to cause trouble, and now looking at really, really good results. Almost everybody else has bad drops.
Yeah, good point there. It's going to be interesting where things shake up at the end of the championship. All I can say is it's going to be so difficult at this point now with the way Andrew Teft's night's gone, especially everyone else in the championship nights have gone. Keep up with truck number 98, up 2.6 seconds. I think by next week, you can almost put a virtual lock by the time we go to 5 flags. Championship. We do have the window opening this time for some. Gas window is open, and Kirby Wainscott, who's almost a lap down, in fact just about is a lap down, is coming down to pit road. He's the first to come down for what should get you to the end here, Howie. From this point forward, it's the green light on fuel.
That's a long stint to end the race, though. A very long stint. And of course, if you played it 3 stops, then this stop uses up your final set of tyres. This is why drivers might just try and stay out, and I'd be surprised if no one thinks of this strategy. Play this one to the absolute end, and then you have insurance in case a caution traps half the field with no tyres at all, because there's only enough sets for your 4 scheduled stops. That's what I think some people are going to have to do. You mentioned Andrew Teft in the championship, by the way, and I've got to say, you'd quite like to wrap it up at Kansas and not 5 flags. As great as 5 flags is, that is a high-pressure way to fight to win a championship. I mean, so much can go wrong, so much will go wrong. If you can get that done at a track like Kansas, you feel good. 3 wide almost there, the 96 just backs out of it.
The wall contact there that time, a little bit higher up to the track for Riley Frost. No damage though. His truck with some of these drivers getting very up close and personal with the fence. Sean Dunaway has completed his service. And hearing something, Blair Hollyman was not happy with something involving a pit stop. He just said something about the wall. He scraped the wall already. He hit the wall last time by. He just waited the whole lap to respond. So, let's take a look at what happened. It would have been on his lap 75.
I think we're pretty close to it, but he also had a bit of a run through the infield, I think, as a result of what happened here. Curse that wall. Absolutely curse that wall. I said it was tricky in looser cars. It's tricky in this thing as well. A little run through the grass got him on the way out.
Truck's okay. No cuts to the fender. Nothing like that. Keep on going with Kensley Smith, Rob Yost, Riley Frost as the next drivers come on in with about 28 laps to work with. Gates, by the way, has cycled where Archibald and Hoke are. Hoke, decent night. Top 10. Not going to be enough to score points to get ahead for the championship, but hey, trying to improve upon his 6 top 10s in 2025 for this season at least, season 8. Still looking to hold on to potentially a top 5 if we can outpoint that 77 in front of him.
Trying to look at what this all means for drivers that aren't named Andrew Teft. It's been a battle for P2 between Sean Dunway and Blair Holliman. There were 2 points in it going in. Well, one of them second and the other one's had a day he wants to absolutely forget, and that might send him tumbling down to the bottom, that's at least a 10, 15, 19-point deficit. Troy Thomas was fourth in the championship. I don't see him. No, he is there on the grid today. He is a solid day. But he's challenged by like Alex Gate and Truth Hoke, who he's pretty close to. So they're not going to gain too much ground on each other in the championship standings after this.
Heard a couple more pitting calls. We'll see who pits this time. 25 laps to work with, and it looks like it's Curtis Ecker that screamed over the radio he was pitting. Gate. Looking to cap off what is going to be a top 10 likely for him here. So, that lead, by the way, Andrew's just been a rocket tonight. 5.8 seconds. Right now, it's down the margin for Sanfilippo. Hollyman is 6.4. For Andrew Teft, he's on the way to what could be a 5th win of the season if he holds on. Chicken Coop Racing, at this point, trying to battle for a chance to be able to get a top 2 in the championship 1-2 finish for their drivers. How things go. Whenever we've seen any of the Chicken Coop Racing machines, they've done very well this season. And once that team, and once the air drivers done away, Wayne Scott, Acker, a part of the championship. Yeah, Alex Teft is the only driver from that team who missed it.
I've not watched a huge amount of this league in the history. I do enough work on other leagues, but you can see why Teft dominates with a race like this. He doesn't even have the fastest lap, but he doesn't need it. It's just being clinical, and he's just run his pace, and he's just being consistent. And a little bit of a check up there in front of Sean Dunway. Riley Frost in the wall almost causes a wreck. Unbelievable how much people are getting away with in this race. I mean, I know I'd heard a lot going in about how these guys are clean racers that race well, and well, we've seen yet more examples of it today in the fact that we stayed at green this whole time. And there have been mistakes because over racing is exhausting, and people give each other a lot of margin, and they're helping us get through this one without too much chaos and disruption. And the best driver really is running away with it.
Andrew Teft is in. So your race leader has come on down. Sanfilippo, Hollyman, many others going to be hoping for a caution. There's been no chances of attrition here, it seems, tonight. As so far, there hasn't been really so much as a driver making contact except for the one early in the race. Everybody has kept it clean tonight yet again in Racers Elite.
Some leagues call themselves Racers Elite, and I guess some are actually quite elite on the track when it comes to their racecraft. Let me put it like that. Andrew Teft comes out to inherit the lead. 3 seconds to the car ahead. That's going to shrink a little bit, obviously, as he comes up to speed on this lap. But, I mean, that's so comfortable. He's going to be so happy just running his race now, not worrying about anything. 21 to go. So comfy on fuel. Every driver that stopped now, though, they should be out of tyres for good. That's a unique dynamic. A lot of events sort of give that margin of 1. Doesn't seem like it here. Actually, okay. This is where I've been wrong. My graphic said 5. My graphic said 4. There are 5 sets and 4 changes. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that down to your regular producer because he gave me 4 tyre sets in my graphic. But that does mean I will have 1 more in the back pocket. I've just been speaking nonsense today.
Well, either way, still less than 20 laps to go. These two have an interesting one when it comes to strategization. We just had a bit of a moment, by the way, with Paul Shaw, who we haven't really seen all season. You know, he got himself into an accident just now in lap 86 in front of Barry Nelson. Still having some moments with the 196. Let's take a look. It was near contact coming out of turn 4 for these drivers towards the back.
Pit stops from Blair Hollyman, Alex Teft, and Alex Gates, by the way. They're our final stoppers. Just loose on the exit of the turn. Big check up from the car behind in order to make that one come together with one piece. But everyone just continuing to show margin as ever. Here is our wildest race, by the way. Here is where they're all bunching up. It starts with Sean Dunway, who's sort of holding up this field on the alternate strategy, and then behind, well, Rob Yost Jr. is doing the same. And everybody else is just trying to find a way through this defense shield.
Dunway having some connection issues for a moment. Robbie Yost, for the first time really in a while, on near equal footing to those in his pack on tires. Ecker is on fresher rubber though. Dunaway is on the older stuff. All of these drivers have already positioned themselves well behind Andrew Tepp though. So they have not been able to pick up any ground for the race lead. Near contact again. They are already 9 seconds back of your overall race leader once Troy Thomas comes down to pit. Joe's still not able to find a way to wrap around. Dunaway doing a good job defending. Archibald joins the fight.
And what can you do when these two drivers who are significantly slower on an alternate strategy literally play roadblock at Charlotte? They're entitled to run side by side like this, but as the third driver, I would be driven insane by this behavior. Like, you just have to find a way around. Someone's going to force it free wide eventually, and that just feels like an inevitability.
It feels like it. Oh, near contact with the squeeze. Dunaway now having the tires give way. Ecker nearly hit the quarter panel of the 83 as well with 15 laps to work with. So Ecker potentially going to be on the podium here. Hollyman did take 2 tires, but cycled 3 seconds back of these drivers. Sanfilippo also has to make up a lot of ground. It's going to be close for all of them on the marker. But as things settle down here, Troy Thomas hoping for the caution flag in the 3 truck. You'd have to think here. 15 seconds up. Right now trying to hold on. You see him right there. And if this was to work out, it'd be a great position. But again, you have to take gambles in the midst of the championship if you want to get yourself another win like he has had a couple for.
Lots of drivers running each other to the absolute bone here. A lot of smoke I just caught. I don't see a truck that's gone backwards. That looked like it could have just been the beginning of a big wreck, but indeed everybody's in one pace. Troy Thomas enters pit lane. Andrew Tepp's lead is going to be 10 seconds at the end of this cycle.
Just dominated this field tonight on long run. Just played the field, did get a good qualifying run, got the boost as the night went on. Incredible. Archibald in front of these drivers, by the way, now up to 4th. Sanfilippo. He gained 3 seconds pretty quickly, didn't he?
I feel like he just teleported into place. He just showed up right on time. Tries to send it below the 99. He is given space. That was a bit of a gutsy way to do it. But he was actually just handed the bottom for it anyway, I think. Archibald knows it's a 5-lap difference on those tires. He's decided to run it very, very, very long in every stint of this race. And now it's going to pay benefits as he gets that final breath of life. There's a yellow.
Caution!
Who is this? It's Sean Dunaway. No, it's not. Trying to find it. It was close to Dunaway. It is Frank Chavez.
Chavez trying to back up the truck. Let's take a look at the Maconi Entertainment replay. This got ugly pretty quick, didn't it? 3 wide is not that great here. And Alex Tepp trying to get by. Then right here, Hoke hit the wall.
And he runs away and he gets away with it as well. That's unfortunate to run. Someone on the chat said that was a low percentage move. I think that was less of a move and it was more of this cursed quad oval, which I complain about every time a league goes here, about 50 times. And that's probably why the racing was very, very good up to then. But one big mistake, and that's your big reset. And unlike what was going on in my head before, we do have an extra set of tyres for every driver. 1 last to go. I imagine everyone will take it. Sanfilippo, he did his climbing up the pack, and now we're just right in time for him to make a run for the end.
So everyone's coming on down to pit road. Here we go. Strategy is on.
You can see how Sanfilippo here extended the second stint and then extended the third stint massively over the cars around him. 88 was a late lap to stop, and that's why he went flying through the fields. The delta here is significant.
Hey, everyone, get into their stops. We'll get first off pit road. Alex Tepp took 2 tires. That will change everything. Alex Tepp gets in front of his brother Andrew on pit exit. A bit of a roll of the dice to try and get a race win here. Curtis Ecker came out third behind Andrew Tepp. Sanfilippo Archibald in the top 5 as Hoke, end of longest line penalty, as the cause of caution. So this is going to get interesting if this works out here. Obviously, Alex is going to be a lot more looser than everybody else out here on the racetrack. This is a bold play to try and see if this works out.
Alex also played the same long game as Sanfilippo, but he didn't make the pace up in time. Sanfilippo was a lot faster at pulling off basically the same thing, and well, that's all being reset. 2 tires is a real risk in a truck. I mean, like, this either ends in extraordinary circumstances, or this is going to lead to some explosion. I mean, do I want to know which?
Keep an eye on this one. It's Alex and Andrew Tepp, Sanfilippo and Ecker. Then behind them is going to be Hollyman and Archibald. Archibald on the inside, actually. Kenley Smith and Robbie Oast. Then Gates and Thomas. Top 10 for the restart. Field getting set to go in a lot of more minute tires. What did you just see?
I'm just saying, oh man, I'm just reflecting on how terrified I am about this. Rob Yost Jr., I mean, arguably 8th place after everything he's been through. He's going to be pushing hard to try and get those places back. Brothers up on the front. Drivers with a lot to prove behind. I'm just reflecting that this is going to be utter chaos for a race that's provided a lot of order up to now. Everything has to change at one point. We flip that switch.
Here we go. Nutrition's RB Rentals Fixed Truck Series from Charlotte comes down to what will be a 7-lap shootout. Who gets the edge here today? Tepps up in front. Green flag is out. Alex Tepp rolls their way up front, but Andrew Tepp keeps it alongside into 1.
Andrew's a long-run driver. He didn't get a good qualifying time. His single lap wasn't really good. He did it through strategy. Sanfilippo wants to send it free.
Here we go. Forces the issue. Ecker looking for second. 6 laps to go. Alex tries to hold off all the lanes. Andrew tries to hug the bottom to hold on to second. Oh, contact. Ecker's in the wall. Hoyman into him. Now he crashes in the pack. Leaned off Smith. Keeps it clean for the rest of the run to the corner. No caution. Top 3 breakaway.
How does he get away with that? I have many questions. We'll watch that later. A little bit more trouble in the back. Looks like Kensley Smith got away with it. And here comes Sanfilippo.
Filippo trying to shake things up. Trying to make his way through. Can he get a run alongside both of the Tepps? Only one of them so far. Here we cleared, but Andrew Tepp gets the run outside. 4 to go. Andrew Tepp goes for the run. Gets blocked to nearly the grass for a moment. Alex Tepp couldn't keep the inside pin.
gates in the wall. He's down and back and out. Green still.
Yeah, still nothing doing. 3 to go. They do have some lap traffic possibly up the road as well. Alex still holds up. Andrew goes a little bit deeper. Sanfilippo, no place to go except try and follow the lanes. Now he chooses the bottom. Now chooses the top. He's choosing all the lines. Coming to 2 laps to go as the brothers fight.
These 2 tires have held up. That 43 car has not slowed up one bit. He has practiced how to handle this truck in these conditions, because no matter what, whether he wins or not, I think that was a good play to get him a surprising result. As long as he makes it to the end, and oh, you can see on exit, that's scary.
Still not clear for either side. Here we go. White flag is out. Coming up this time. Final time around. Andrew gets the edge for the stripe. Alex on the 2 tires looking to make things work. Now gets spooked up the racetrack. Andrew tapped. Takes over the lead fully. Alex tapped. Trying the cross. As the run. Will he take a dive bomb? Yes, he will. Alex tapped deep in the corner. Andrew better on the throttle. Sanfilippo dives into the outside. Into the wall goes Hollyman. Andrew Temp wins again and races the lead.
He had to earn that under pressure. The pressure of 100 diamonds. Blair Holliman takes the 3rd place, by the way, after a little bit of chaos. I want to catch a replay of that before we reflect on more, because I think there's a little bit of pent-up frustration about this in the chat. Right up against the wall. No, the 12 gets spooked, and by the 43, Sanfilippo's already out of his car. I mean, he has to have been frustrated by that move.
Let's take a look at this. Alex tried it. Just couldn't clear. Couldn't park the nodes either. Chaos reigns behind. Sanfilippo, you have to go somewhere, right, as you said. Just wasn't close enough to try ascend, but still gets a 4th place finish even with the wall contact right from the spook up.
One more replay I want to catch is possibly the slowdowns or the wreck right at the end of this race. I think I have the bookmark. Curtis Ecker's car, because he was a contender for this win right up until he wasn't.
This was really the spark that caused the breakaway. Yeah. Let's see where there's obviously need apologies on the radio.
It's just a game where you know whose fault it is, but you bet it's just a game of a small margin and someone making a move that they just thought they were lower for. Better than sending someone into the wall outright. That's going to mark a dramatic checkered flag, and we'll be able to get race results out here for you, because that was a joy.
Take a quick step aside. We come back. Post race results. You're watching Maconi Entertainment for coverage of Racers Elite.
back after a thrilling race here at Charlotte. And Andrew Teft had to win it at the end of a very long run and one quick caution to mark it out at the end. Beating out his brother Alex on 2 tyres. Blair Hollyman takes it from San Filippo on the final turn. Further down the line, Rob Yost Jr. makes his unorthodox strategy work in 5th. Ahead of Sean Dunway, Philip Archibald, Hensley Smith, Troy Thomas, and Alex Gates.
They also had Paul Shaw down in the 11th position, Riley Frost in 12th, Ecker, Wayne Scott, Nelson, and Hoke in the top 16 of note. Nelson and Hoke multiple laps down. Chavez finished 17th, laps down. Kyle Hess was a part of the DNFs. Bergen was also in 19th. A bunch of your runners here this evening. So top to bottom of the running order here tonight for Racers Elite, the Family Traditions RV Rentals Fixed Truck Series. Andrew Teft comes away with a win tonight. Andrew, you had them covered on the long run tonight until that late race restart. Talk us through that battle with you and Alex, your brother.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I got to thank him for racing me clean. Wasn't sure how that was going to work out because he's beat me with those 2 tire calls before, but I think I had a little bit of a gap going into pit road, so I figured I could take 4 and not do too much damage track position wise and wound up on the front row at least. I just took a few laps to get fired off there. 3 wide was pretty sketchy right off the bat there, and just kind of plugged away at it the next few laps. It takes a few laps to really pull off a pass. See, everybody's so equal and so fast, and seemed like he might have just overdrove the top of 3 and 4 one time, and it was enough. But yeah, definitely nerve-wracking. Had to work for that one.
What is it about the long run that makes things click for you? I will ask you that as well, because qualifying hasn't been your strong suit at times this season, only a couple poles out of the races. But when it comes to long run, it just seems like you find so much speed all of a sudden, where every pit stop you gain 2 to 3 seconds tonight.
Yeah, I try to save a bunch of tire in the beginnings of the runs. It seems like you can kind of do some extra damage at the starts of the runs, and here, I think it's all about the paint here, just hugging the bottom and getting your left fronts down that paint, and just seems to be a ton of extra grip there, and you don't slide around as much and push off the corners and really burn up your stuff.
So next up is Kansas. You feel confident about Kansas as well to do the similar thing, because you've done this a lot in the 1.5 miles when we have long run green flag races.
Yeah, it all depends on cautions and stuff, but I would expect something like this probably. Not sure what time of day we're racing, but everybody's pretty competitive at these 1.5 mile tracks, so I don't expect it to be a runaway by any means.
So on that note, anyone you want to give a shout out to here tonight?
Yeah, good run to Alex, and thanks again for racing me clean. I want to thank our servicemen, women, you guys for helping out in the booth. Everybody that tunes in to watch, shows up to race, and if you're interested in checking us out, just head on over to racerselite.com. You can find all of our info there, all of our events and new season stuff, all that stuff coming up. And if you don't mind doing us a favor, you can look us up on YouTube under Racers Elite Network and give us a subscribe. We appreciate it.
Congratulations on the run here tonight, Andrew.
Thanks, guys.
Andrew Teft comes away with a win tonight. Alex Teft comes away in second. He is with Howie.
Alex Teft didn't notice you too much all race until the very big run at the end on 2 tires, and it almost worked. How did that battle feel for you?
Yeah, no, just needed one less lap. I was hoping that it would get a quick caution on that restart to just shorten the length of the race a little bit so I could hold on. I felt like I was playing, the draft games and the aero games with both lines, with them fighting side by side behind me pretty well. But yeah, once Andrew, I think, eventually got to the inside of me or outside, I can't remember exactly. But yeah, the tires are pretty much cooked at that point, and just couldn't hang on.
This track takes so much concentration and so much just to get through your long runs on it. You made it home in one piece. Were there any other observations from the way that race ran for you?
Yeah, each run seemed to be quite different. tires would just kind of wear differently. First run it was all right. Second run I was kind of all over the place. The arrow got really weird when you would enter the corner beside people as well. You would get super tight, and he would just want to hook around in the center. Probably the last third of that race, I just started ripping the high line, and that seemed to be the fastest lane for me from then on out. Especially with the way I set up the runs, I was doing like 2 short 20-lap runs or something like that. So I was just hauling ass and didn't care about tire wear at that point.
Well, we did just talk to your brother, who I'm sure has a lot of the same similar points, but any other thank yous or shout outs?
Yeah, no, definitely want to thank you guys in the Maconi Entertainment booth for putting on the broadcast. Maybe League Yourself Races Elite. Thank my friends and the viewers that watch all the time. And shout out to Kensley, Chaos Designs, for he does my paints for me usually. And then my fiance.
Good to see a good result from you. Fun race.
Yeah, thank you.
And that leaves you with Blair Holloman to finish off our top 3.
Yes, indeed. And Blair, early on tonight, you had the short run speed. What happened once you got to the long run, though?
Felt like the first run was pretty good. I know getting out for a long lead was gonna net me pretty much to get past at some point. Second run, I couldn't get comfortable at all. I didn't drive the truck any worse, but it felt like the tires fell off quicker. And that last run before we had that caution, I took 2 thinking, maybe I saved the left sides. I did not. We got 4 tires there at the end, and I completely screwed up corner entry there on that restart. I thought I could hold the truck 3/4 of the way up there, be like right off the left rear of Curtis, and I messed that up terribly. I apologize to him. I expect I'm probably getting some sort of payback here in the next 2 races, but I trying to make room. Well, not really make room, but try to make the moves there while we got a couple laps left. But all in all, pretty good night, I would like to say, other than that mess up there at the end and completely ruined Curtis's night.
Yeah, we've seen the replay on that. It was a tight situation with the contact to the quarter panel. But overall, though, throughout the night, what was kind of the concern about the fuel mileage here? Because if it stayed green, it looked to be one of those races where if everyone went the full distance, it would have been within 5 laps. What was kind of going through your mind with the fuel mileage number crunching as the race went on?
I was with it being 105 laps. My idea was try to pit at every 30. Try to just be consistent on that. If the fuel mileage looked more like possibly like 38 laps on a tank of gas, I would have loved to have tried to stretch it out for a 2-stop race. It would have been bad on tire degradation, but it would have been interesting. But I wanted to try to get to 30, 60, and then pit with roughly almost 90. But the tires were so bad on that second run there. Well, yeah, second run coming to like lap 88, 89. I had to pit a little early than I wanted to. But yeah, that fuel mileage, if we just had a couple more laps, it could have gotten really interesting with how to strategize today's race.
How do you feel about Kansas?
With it being progressive bank, if it's a nighttime race, I think it'll be very, very fun. Every lane is available when it's nighttime. During the daytime, you pretty much have the absolute bottom for the opening 5 or 6 laps, and then it turns into between the seams there. And if it's nighttime, you could be up on the fence. So you got to wait to see what the conditions are. I really didn't look to see what the in race time will be for it, but definitely can run from top to bottom there, and it should be fun with trying to pass people there.
Anyone want? All right. So on that note, anyone you want to give a shout out to here tonight?
Yeah, I want to give a couple quick shout outs. My teammate Yost, he had a great night, finishing 5th there. Able to get away a podium myself, which is shocking. On the truck, we have Holloman Napa Auto Parts, my cousin Tad's business. Macro Tools on the side, that's my tool guy, Roy Salisbury. And I know my dad's watching. I hope he was entertained seeing us work through the field and seeing both his boys able to get a top 10 there.
Congratulations on the run here tonight, Blair.
Thank guys. I'll see you.
Blair Hyman, the gambler, gets himself a third place run here tonight. Like, thank the entire top three for speaking during post race coverage here on Maconi Entertainment. What are your final thoughts tonight, Howie, as we get ready for your next race next week? We go to Kansas.
Well, I won another one of those all-time classic intermediates, and one of those ways you really round out the season before you get to a chaotic finale. The racing's always crazy at Kansas, but it's much bigger, much wider, much more space to make moves on people. It's going to be a little bit more chaos on the field, and I think people are going to make bigger and bolder moves. I think car championship leader's going to want to wrap it up there, though, and not have to worry about 5 flags. Because as fun as that's going to be, it's going to be a crapshoot.
It's going to be an interesting night, to say the very least. We'll see it once again here on Maconi Entertainment from Kansas, 7:45 green flag time for that one. Well, on that note, it's time to say goodbye. I'd like to thank you for tuning in for tonight's coverage. Calling the action tonight was myself, Justin Prince, alongside Howie Burrows in the booth. Thanks to our viewers for watching tonight's action. Hope you stay tuned to our social media pages for our next race. Thanks to the entire work staff for their work in bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time.